Hello guys, good morning. You're welcome to today's class. Please, if you are watching this, if you are in this channel for your first time, I really recommend that you like the page, you subscribe and share, please, so that and also put on your notification so that whenever I upload a video of this type, you are going to actually be notified. I am Sir Young, the director of SYTA. So today we are going to be handling GCE 2023 Mathematics Paper 2 of Ordinary Levels. So please, I equally recommend that you have your calculators by you so that when we reach at the final answers, you'll just be able to punch and verify because I will not actually be doing the punching. And I equally recommend that you have the question paper by you in case you might not be able to see very well from the screen, then you follow up from there. Then if with that, I think we are actually good to start. We have in the first question here, we have question number 1. We are asked to, before that you see instructions for session A, you are required to answer all the 10 questions. And so it is actually compulsory for you to answer all the 10 questions. Let's start with the first question. We are actually asked to evaluate 15 minus 4 times 2 plus 3. And so here the idea here is for us to apply BODMAS. And so if we apply BODMAS, we see that the multiplication comes first. So we are going to write 15. Negative 4 times 2 gives us negative 8 plus 3. And so we are going to see, we equally see that addition comes before subtraction. So be careful. Here we are actually adding negative 8 plus 3. And so if we do so, we have 15. Negative 8 plus 3 is going to give us negative 5. And let's put equal signs here. And of course, this is going to give us 10. One trick here is to always verify. You can point this in your calculator and already have your answer, so that when you solve and you have something else from what the calculator gave you, you should know that you might have made an error, provided your calculator is functioning properly. So you can always check to verify that your steps are okay. Good. Question number 2, we have to solve the simultaneous equation 2m plus 4n equal to 0, and we have 3m minus 2n equal to 16. There are several methods. They did not precise any method for us to use, so we can actually use any method of our choice. So here I will prefer to use elimination method. You realize that if I do, let's call this equation 1 and let's call this equation 2. With this elimination method, we're supposed to either add or subtract to ensure that one of the variables is eliminated. But in this case, we realize that if you either add or subtract, none of them will be eliminated. So I'm going to multiply equation 1 by the coefficient of m in equation 2, and I multiply equation 2 by the coefficient of m in equation 4, so in equation 1. So I'm going to do this times 3. I'm going to do this times 2. And so we are going to actually have 6m plus 12n equal to 0, 6m minus 4n equal to 32. And so you see now that if we subtract, we are going to have 0 here. And so we subtract 12 minus 4, then two negatives become positive. So we are going to have 12 plus 4, which is 16n equal to 0 minus 32 is negative 32. Evaluating well by dividing all through by 16, it gives us n equal to negative 2. Very good. And so we solve for m. We now substitute this value. We put n equal to negative 2 in equation 1, for example. Equation 1, we had 2m plus. So we have 2m plus 4 into negative 2 equal to 0. Multiplying this gives negative 8, and crossing it the other way gives us positive 8. So 2m is equal to 8. Meaning that if we divide all through by 2, we have 2, these 2 will cancel, and so it tells us that m is just equal to 4. Very good. Now that is it for question 2. We move now to question number 3. We have question 3. Given the statements P and Q as P, he is tall, and Q, he is handsome. Right? In ordinary English, A, not P. So this stands for not P. And it's actually the converse of the statement P. In other words, the opposite of the statement P. Now, if a statement is saying that he is tall, what then is going to be the opposite? What is the opposite of tall? The opposite of tall is just short, so we are going to write that he is short. Take note, if you write he is not tall, they're actually going to mark it wrong, so you have to know that the opposite of tall is short. Then in B we have P, then this. Remember that this symbol, it means or, and this one means and. So here we have P and Q. What does the statement P say? P says he is tall, Q says he is handsome. So we're just going to say that he is tall and handsome. If you say he is tall and he is handsome, there is no problem. Then in the third part we have C. Oh, sorry about this. This is not an. This statement is or. Sorry about that. So he is tall or handsome. Good. Now this is. Remember I said this one means an. So here we say he is tall and handsome. That is it for question 3, guys. Look at question 4. We have given the figure 1 represents the height PR of a boy, which is 1.8 meters, and his shadow PR cure 2.4 meters long on a flat horizontal ground. We are asked to find the distance PQ. So question number 4A, we are supposed to find distance PQ. Here we are actually going to apply Pythagoras theorem. We know that from trigonometry, if I have this is the opposite, the hypotenuse, let's just say this is an angle here, then theta, the hypotenuse is just going to be equal to O squared plus A squared, right? That's it, the Pythagoras theorem. So that's what we are going to apply here. So we see that the distance P to Q is actually the hypotenuse of the right angle triangle. So we are going to write P Q to be equal to the square root of 1.8 all of this squared plus 2.4 all of this squared. Punch in your calculator, you're just going to have 3 meters. But be careful, I told you to make sure you have your calculator by you. And then B is asking us to calculate the angle of elevation. Take note, there are two types of angles that I'm going to explain in this case. We have the angle of elevation, we have the angle of depression. If this is the top of a tree, for example, then the angle made up here is going to be called the angle of depression. I don't know if that's called spelling. Then this one, the one made down here, is going to be called the angle of elevation. So we're actually looking at this angle, the angle down here, okay? We're going to look at this angle, good. So that angle, we can find it by applying SOHCAHTOA to use any of the trigonometric ratios. So we look for a trigonometric ratio that relates. If this angle is here, this is the opposite and this is the adjacent side. If you do your SOHCAHTOA well, you realize that it is actually tan. So if you can take the tan of that angle, tan of the angle theta is equal to the opposite 1.8 divided by the adjacent 2.4. And so we have been asked to do this to leave our answer to the nearest degree. So theta is equal to tan inverse of 1.8 divided by 2.4. And so if we do this, we are going to have a value to the nearest degree. Is just going to give us let me just take time here and punch tan. We have tan inverse, sorry, tan inverse of 1.8. This calculator disturbing a little bit. we have 1.8 divided by 2.4. This gives us 36 point. The value actually gives us 36.87, but to the nearest degree we are going to put it at 37 degrees. We ran out 36 to 37. Good. Now we move to the next question, guys. I hope you are following up keenly. Question 5. A card is drawn at random from a pack of 52 playing cards. Calculate the probability that the card drawn is, for example, A. We are calculating the probability of an ace. So what you need to recall, this is question number 5. What you need to recall is that in a set of playing